What is going on, all of my YouTube listeners, subscribers, and or followers? I am D Venom. Welcome to Addiction, Relapse, and Recovery. Some of you guys may know the platform as, I think, Hey Yoka Lightworker 2222, if I'm not mistaken. I do know that Hey Yoka Lightworker 2222 or something to that effect was my Instagram name. If I'm not sure if I associated that particular name with my YouTube platform or not, but I do know that it was a different name before I changed it to Walking in My Shoes 222, Easier Said Than Done. That profile name existed for a while until I decided to be a little bit more authentic with myself and you guys and change it to what it is currently, which is Addiction, Relapse, and Recovery. And it's something that I've been going through for a while now. If you guys have been following my story here on YouTube, you all should know that my drug of choice is methamphetamine, and it has been for a while now. If you guys don't know the story, I will, foreshadow it real quick here. I was introduced to methamphetamine shortly after I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. When I moved to Las Vegas, I can't think of the exact year, but it was shortly after my favorite singer and a lot of your guys' favorite singer, Aaliyah, passed away. And, I was living as a transsexual, female at that time. Myself and my then roommates went to a bar called the Las Vegas Lounge that's centered in the Fruit Loop area. Well, it's not centered in the Fruit Loop area, but it's centered on the outskirts of the Fruit Loop area. The Fruit Loop area in Las Vegas is the gay district. There are two. There's the little Fruit Loop area, and then there's the bigger Fruit Loop area that have more clubs and bathhouses and things like that. That's in the area. Anyway, myself and my then roommates went to that particular bar, and I was introduced. Well, I wasn't introduced, but I seen or met a person in the bar that seemed pretty cool. Me being from the Midwest, I didn't think anything of it when they brought out a bag of crystal meth when we went outside to go and talk with each other. Well, they went outside to go bum. I went outside to go talk, but they brought out the substance. And I thought it was coke, being naive and being from the Midwest, which drugs back in those days were the drugs that were popular back in those days were, coke, crack, marijuana, drinking alcohol was popular, PCP, ecstasy, drugs of that nature was on the scene. If methamphetamine existed back in my Illinois days, I didn't know about it, and thank God I didn't. Anyway, the person brought out the bag of this crystally substance, and I thought it was coke. And they dug in the bag with their keys and persisted to get. They didn't persist. I was willing. They gave me bump after bump of this crystal meth, and I remember we went back into the bar, if I'm not mistaken. Kikied for a while, and then we went back to my then apartment, and I remember us, having hot, passionate sex pretty much all night long. And that was my break. And no, not necessarily. After all that was over and done with, there was a point where I had to brush my teeth and all of that type of shit. And I went to brush my teeth and get ready for the day, and my gums would bleed sometime depending on how hard I brush. But this was a different type of bleeding. I wasn't brushing that hard, and my gums just, they were just bleeding. And I was scared, I didn't know what to do. And I was speaking with my then ex-roommate, and they were like, "Oh, you got a hold of some crystal meth, huh?" And I'm looking at them like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I didn't know what meth was or anything like that. And they told me to drink plenty of water and eat. And the main thing is sleep. And I followed their instructions, and things got a lot better. But in a spiritual sense, I like to think that my gums bleeding and me going through that was my initiation into the dark world, into the matrix, into the methamphetamine, the methamphetamine were all of that shit. That was my initiation in, and I just did not realize it until, later down the line, later down the line. But anyway, I have been lying quite a bit in regard to my relapses. And I came clean on my podcast in regard to the several relapses that I have been going through. The last time that I used methamphetamine was probably maybe the day before yesterday, considering, some shit has been going on with my living quarters, and I have some really nosy neighbors that have overstepped their boundaries, and I feel like they have been spying on me. And I don't think that drugs has anything to do with this. This has to do with my intuition telling me that something's not right. And yesterday, while I was sitting on the futon, taking care of some business, I think working on my YouTube platform or whatever, I turned just at the right time. And I went to, go work on my laptop, and there was a white light that was on my futon, moving to and fro as if it was, searching for something. And that white light came from above. It was daylight. It had nothing to do with the reflection of cars and stuff going back and forth, because that usually would happen, but it would happen at night. This was well in the daytime when this happened. And I've seen these particular lights on several of occasions before, but when you feel like you're being spied on or whatever the case may be, who do you talk to without people looking at you like you're going crazy? So a lot of that stuff I just kept bottled up inside. But yeah, I've been going through a situation, with the neighbors, overcrossing boundaries and whatever else the case may be. So anyway, aside from that, I just really do want to welcome you guys to the platform, and I want it to be as authentic with you guys as I possibly can. And, I came out to my podcasters and I told them the truth, and I'm coming out to you guys and telling you all the truth, that I have been relapsing really, really bad. And, as I was explaining to you all a few minutes ago, the last time that I used methamphetamine was, I think it was the day before yesterday. I destroyed the pipes, considering what I seen in regards to that white light or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? Here is where you quit. And this here's where you mean it. You need to get your mind right, because motherfuckers are fucking with you for the simple fact they know that you fucking around with this shit. And who knows how long motherfuckers have been, crossing boundaries and being in your personal business. I've been doing a lot of perverted things behind the scenes while on methamphetamine. And, who's to say what footage has been captured and possibly sold or put out there, whatever, putting me in this light, that I am this like meth head or whatever. And I don't like stuff like that. And I took the initiative yesterday to turn down my white noise machines. I have white noise in each and every last room of my apartment, not only for privacy purposes, but for the fact that I'm ADHD and I'm bipolar. It helps with me keeping calm. It helps with my attention. It helps with a lot of different things. But the main thing is, to keep me wrapped up in my bubble of privacy and keep, people at a distance. Anyway, it's a long story in regards to that. I don't want to take away from the fact that I'm talking about my platform and whatever else the case may be. But I did take the initiative to turn down all the motherfucking white noise machines. And in the living room, I spoke loud as day, and hopefully they heard me. And I, told my story, just like I'm telling my story now to you guys, and like I told my story on Pinterest and Instagram and whatever. Yes, I do have a issue with methamphetamine and have been, but does that give a person reason to cross boundaries and be in someone else's business? No, it does not. But anyway, I stood firm in my power, and I stood and I told my own truth. And the power that they thought that they were going to take away from me by crossing boundaries and being in my business or whatever the case may be, I snatched that shit right back. And I reclaimed my power. And, I told my story right, loud enough for them to hear it, because I'm just that powerful. Anyway, I just want you guys to know that I'm fighting this battle, and I'm getting through it. And like I said, after the actions of others, it definitely sobered my ass up. And I destroyed them. I destroyed that motherfucking pipe. I had three, one cracked in whatever the case may be. And I don't like smoking methamphetamine with the cracked pipe, so I ended up getting rid of that one, and I was down to two. I ended up smoking meth with someone that didn't have a pipe, and they asked me if they can have it, so I ended up giving it to them. I was on my journey to slowly quitting anyway, so it was good that people were asking me for the methamphetamine pipes they were breaking. It was good. All of that shit was happening. Anyway, I was down to one. And, as I said, due to the actions of others, that caused me to take that motherfucking pipe, put it dead square in the living room. I have a sledgehammer, and I took that bitch, and I destroyed it. And from there, I took the methamphetamine that I bought, which was $15 worth, and I flushed it down the motherfucking toilet. And I said to myself, no, I didn't say shit to myself. I said it out loud. Here is where your ass sober the fuck up and get it together. Because for one, you're making a fool of yourself in certain situations, and this is not you at all. People know when you are under the influence of something versus when you are sober. And I brought a lot of the energies that I put out there being under the influence of methamphetamine. The universe responded and gave me the reaction. And the reaction is, it's a lot of different things. But anyway, I kept a couple of playlists that I created on this particular platforms for various different reasons. I did rename some of those as well, the Functioning Addict playlist. They live amongst us, but who are they? I changed that name to Camouflage because we are some chameleons. We will exist right in front of your motherfucking face, and you wouldn't even know that we are dealing with substance abuse behind the scenes, and we're functioning as addicts. You wouldn't know. I got very good at my craft in regard to functioning as an addict. I broke out from I believe it was the last batch of methamphetamine. You wouldn't be able to tell because I have some really good concealer on, but all in this area, I broke out real bad. My temples broke out real bad, and where I work at, we're in close encounters with each other, and there's light all over the place and whatever else the case may be. So I definitely had to do something quickly in order to not allow those blemishes to show. And thank God I have a past with living as a woman. I know some blending techniques, and I blended that shit to the best of my motherfucking abilities to not be detected as a functioning addict. But anyway, hopefully that title will not exist with me anymore in regard to being a functioning addict, because like I said, I've given up methamphetamine since I think yesterday is the day that I destroyed that it was yesterday I destroyed that damn pipe. Other than that, I was going to show you guys my the pipes that I use and the methamphetamine that I had, to let y'all know that I'm not lying. I'm being very authentic as I possibly can with this whole scenario. I'm sorry, you guys. I feel like I messed my hair up. I need to get it redone. But anyway, I wanted to be I wanted to be as authentic with you guys as I possibly could. And I was going to break out the motherfucking pipes, and I was going to show y'all. And I wasn't going to take a hit or anything like that. I'm not trying to glorify methamphetamine. If anything, I'm trying to take away from it. But I was definitely going to, let y'all see what I have been, what I've been doing in regard to relapsing. So anyway, you guys, thanks to my newest followers, I was down to 75. Now I have 72. So thank you, whoever you guys are that joined the bandwagon in regard to my YouTube platform. I didn't even do anything except change the name to what it is now. And the universe, obviously agreed. And some of you guys agreed and joined the bandwagon. So thank you guys very much. I really do appreciate that. I will be uploading more content for you guys in regard to my walk with sobriety and recovery. This is it's new, and it's not new because I've fought the battle before in regard to sobriety and recovery, and I failed. I'm going to be clean. As long as I've been dealing, with the matrix and methamphetamine and them grimy ass people and whatever else the case may be, it's going to take a lot in order for me to detox fully off of methamphetamine. But I'm going to do it. And you guys can do it too. Don't allow Satan and his people, his potion, sex, or whatever else the case may be, to keep you lured into that lifestyle. If you truly want out of it, you will do everything possible to fight in order to, find anew in regard to life. You have to surrender a lot of things, give up people, places, and or things that no longer serve your higher purpose. And I'm willing to give up my environment because I don't like the shit any motherfucking way in regard to, the energies I live around, the apartment itself. I'm just ready to move on with my life. I had to give up the people, which I'm willing to do. I'm putting their ass on block. I just don't want to be bothered with it anymore in regard to, the methamphetamine lifestyle. What else do I have to do? Like the methamphetamine pipes, things. I got rid of the meth. I got rid of the pipes. So those are things I no longer have in my possession anymore. So I'm willing to give up. I'm willing to sacrifice and give up a lot of different things in order to give myself anew in regard to life. And you guys can do it too. We are deserving, and we reserve the right, and we deserve to have a better chance at life. Those of us that are addicted to whatever we are addicted to, addiction and relapse don't have to be a part of our lives. We choose to have it a part of our lives. Let's just keep it real. But anyway, I'm not going to hold you guys for too long. Well, I've already held you guys long enough. Also, I want to say that, ASMR is definitely something huge in my heart, and it has helped me. And I really do get those tingles, those brain gasms and things like that. I really do feel the ASMR. ASMR is keeping me alive. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I know my videos aren't the best videos out there, but I don't care. I'm going through a fucking addiction, and it could be worse. I could be depressed and falling deeper into my addiction, and just wallowing in my own shit. And I'm deciding not to. I'm deciding to fight. That's what I'm deciding to do. But aside from that, when I sit in front of the camera and eat, and just reach out to you guys in that particular way, it's a distraction. Let me take that back. It's not a distraction. It's something that's keeping me from those distractions and those attacks and those temptations of wanting to go out into the matrix and do drugs. It's therapy for me to sit there and do what I do, with the camera or the microphone in regard to my podcast. These are things that are keeping me afloat and keeping me alive, you guys. I'm not paraphrasing ASMR. I am. Let me rephrase. I am paraphrasing ASMR story and or her words. But I do believe she was hospitalized and was very depressed and just going, very depressed and just going through it. And her daughter went to go visit her, and her daughter seen that her mom was depressed or whatever, and wanted to cheer her up. So she was like, "Here, mom, look at this or watch this." And it was some ASMR videos. I think it was food videos, and that sparked it sparked an idea in ASMR to choose head to start doing the same thing, and that became her therapy. And before you know it, she was happy, and she was out of the hospital and living her life. And that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? It's just like ASMR is something that is keeping me afloat and keeping me alive, and it's one of the things that is keeping me afloat and keeping me alive and keeping me here with you guys, making content and hopefully helping other people to stay away from whatever lifestyle that's detrimental to their environment. I mean, not their environment, but detrimental to their energies and vibrations. That's what the hell I meant to say. But anyway, we have a long road with each other, you guys, and I hope y'all all stick around and join my journey in regard to addiction, relapse, and recovery. I got to get the name right. I say it all. That's what I need to do. I need to say those words and claim it. And I haven't done that. Addiction, relapse, and recovery. Excuse me. But anyway, feel free to check me out on D-Venom Eats. That's my ASMR platform. And also, feel free to join here and subscribe. And if you like the content, please click subscribe, like, comment, and or share. I and the universe would gladly appreciate any efforts. Thank you guys very much. And I really do appreciate you all, supporting me through my journey with, addiction, recovery, and relapse. Did I say that wrong again? Addiction, relapse, and recovery. See? Anyway, you guys have a fantastic day, evening, and or night. And namaste.